Over the course of this debate, you may well hear many claims that have little regard to fact. So let me be clear. There are no unvetted mild migrants in this country. There's no implantation of men in Ireland.
People want to know how come people are arriving on Ryanair flights and other flights without documentation.
Because they flush them down the toilet, or they arrive at Dublin Airport and they flush them down the toilet. And one of the things we have to do here is we send everybody who's non-EU you have to get their visas checked. We're now taking photographs of their passports at the visa check desk, and we want to send that information to the Department of Justice. So if somebody shows up, we as the airline will be able to say, here's the passport, here's here's the passport, here's where we think they were sitting. I mean, it's a complete scam. And these are not refugees. One of the things that drives me nuts in Ireland is we treat people as refugees who are coming from the UK or from France. Nobody got to Ireland from Afghanistan or from Kenya or from Nigeria or from Syria on a direct flight, because there aren't any. We should look after refugees. I have great sympathy for the Ukrainians. But people who are arriving in here from the UK, France or other EU countries, we should be turning them back, say here, back to the EU countries where you came from. But the challenge for border control is they arrive here, but they have no documentation, and it's very difficult to track what flight did they come on, what seat were they sitting in, because they tear up or flush their documentation down the toilets. And all of them have documentation when they board their Ryanair flight at the other side.
And Ireland most certainly is not full. And Ireland most certainly is not full.
And Ireland most certainly is not full.
Crime does not increase in locations where asylum seekers are living. These are myths, but they're worse than that. They're more than myths. They're designed to sow division. They're designed to spread fear. And it's these narratives that can cause riots in our capital city like we saw just last year.
A 58-year-old Michael Snee was found at his home on Connaughton Road yesterday morning. He had suffered serious injuries, while the body of 42-year-old Aidan Moffat was discovered at his house at Cartron Heights at around 8:30 on Monday evening. Aidan had also been the subject of a serious physical assault.
Justice done, the parents and sister of Aisling Murphy watch on as her boyfriend tries to put their pain into words.
Aisling was a vibrant, intelligent and highly motivated young woman, and she was the epitome of a perfect role model for every little girl to look up to and strive to be.
Gardaí were alerted to this violent incident at the River Dock apartment complex located at the corner of the Dock Road and O'Curry Street in Limerick at 1:30 this afternoon. The body of a woman aged in her 20s was found in an upstairs flat, fatally assaulted.
If these untruths are things that have helped bring people to politicians' homes and have helped subject some of our families to intimidation, it is this hate that is poisoning our people across the country to believe that a migrant is the enemy. It needs to be called out, because it is this radicalisation that has the potential to spin and spill into violence, and it needs to end.
Every migrant out there is supposed to carry a weapon, supposed to carry something to defend themselves. Don't listen to these people. They don't know what life is. They don't even know who they are. You know, they don't even know how to protect their own fucking country. You know what I mean? The cheek of these people. The cheek of the authorities in this country. The cheek of them. Don't make sure they don't take nothing from you. You know, if you're going out with your friend, make sure you strap up. Yeah, don't be afraid to strap up.
As Taoiseach, it's my absolute priority and my duty to ensure that Ireland has a coherent and effective migration policy and a whole-of-government approach. It's also my duty and obligation to challenge the extremists that claim to speak for this country, generally with no mandate. Waving a tricolour does not make you a patriot. It does not give you the right to intimidate.
It's all about the flag of this country! And it's only ever going to be about this flag! And if you don't like it, get on the bus, get on the plane, and get on the boat you got off!
Equally, though, we must, in these debates, be willing to differentiate between the extremes, between the far rights, between the so-called patriots with their flag waving, and legitimate concerns and questions that people in communities across Ireland have and that deserve to be answered.
We fucking don't need it. Yeah. And he kept giving it to me.
Dirty bastards.
And he moved them from over there when I was raring up on them.
It's disgraceful. Disgraceful. Dad, you go on back over there. I don't want you getting involved in this. Go on. Whatever, I have to be here.
I'm only thinking of my grandkids.
I know what you're thinking of.
I'm thinking of my grandchildren. My grandchildren. Shouldn't be fucking here, but why wouldn't I be here?
Exactly. Fair play to you.
More like you here. Like the fuck of it. 78 years of age, and that guard stuck it into me face and sprayed me all over. Standing here peacefully, I'm only thinking of my grandchildren. And I hope everybody else is thinking of their children. Because the country is being ruined. They can't close the doors now because there's no room to take anybody else in. And they say Ireland for the Irish. Oh, boy, Jesus. It's not Irish now.
Here we go.
There's no implantation of men in Ireland, and Ireland most certainly is not full.
Hello, dhaoibh, good people of the world. Donegal on shot. Dennis here, back with another independent talk. Wednesdays at 7 o'clock. Play a few videos. If anybody wants to come in, say anything, has a question, has a topic, and they'd like to discuss of any of the videos that I play, anything at all, as per usual, 7 o'clock on a Wednesday. Show me face. I am Donegal, Dennis. That's who I am. And I use my voice as best I can. The government must fall. It must fall. Know thy enemy. Know thy enemy. So I hope you are all well. Just pop through the videos. If you have to say, drop it in the comments and we'll come back to it.
The issue isn't with all men. The issue isn't with all women. The issue is with the justice system inside the country. The issue isn't with all the doctors, the nurses, the hospital staff. It's with the healthcare system. Immigrants aren't the problem. Migrants aren't the problem. It's the government letting these people into the country that have criminal records or people that don't want to contribute to the Irish economy. It's the government that's the problem. And everyone should protest outside the Dáil or outside any government building. I've always said this from day one. Protest outside the government buildings. Do not take your frustrations out on the healthcare staff. Do not take your frustrations out on people working or immigrants in the country or migrants or whatever. Take the issue out on the government letting these things happen. Also, do not blame all men for attacking women. Do not blame all women for attacking men. Blame the justice system at hand that's run by the government. It's that simple. But people are not grasping that concept. The issue is with the Irish government. It's not meant to be aimed at minorities or people that are, don't paint everyone with the same brush. That's the type of attitude that we have to have as people, concerned citizens in Ireland going forward. Stop painting every immigrant with the same brush. Stop painting every healthcare staff with the same brush. Stop painting every man, woman with the same brush. Or whatever you want to identify as, okay? Stop painting people with the same brush. The issue is with the government at the hand of these problems. The healthcare system, the immigration system, the housing system, whatever the case may be. The issue is with the government. Okay?
100%. The government, the state, the system, call it what you will, it must fall. It is the problem. And all its connections and outside influences and NGOs. It's a big problem. But yeah, a few videos tonight. Let other people speak. I am pushing out the People's Party Ireland videos and People's Party Ireland letters. PeoplesPartyIreland.com is the website if you want to read the letters. And that's it. I hope to see you down the road. I'll spin a few videos, let a few other people speak. And that's me of a Wednesday evening. If anybody wants to come in and say something or have a question or a conversation, again, you're more than welcome. But otherwise, I'll just keep spinning through the videos.
Half bricks in the hand, look. What? The boy carrying the 2 half bricks here. Go on back to Dublin, you fuckers.
is an uprising! This is the uprising! We have had enough! We have had enough! This is an uprising! We have had enough! We will be controlled!
I don't know what universe I'm living in, where people are annoyed at seeing a Union Jack and a tricolour displayed side by side in the middle of Belfast. I feel like if that was on any other occasion, if it was a state-mandated occasion where, you know, heads of states did it, people would celebrate that. But when it's, which is rehearsed bullshit, but when it's the people that have decided at this moment in time to finally come together and hold them two flags together in the middle of Belfast, I just think the symbolism of that is historic. But if it was any other, but because they're right wing, it's not being reported on in that particular way. I thought the left were progressive.
See that, you men and women of Ulster, Munster, Leinster and Connacht. McDog, the Archangel, giving us a wee fucking heads up. Yesterday we had a momentous day, and a lot of people are coming against us all, coming out saying this is all, we're standing with this, we're standing with that. We stupid men of Ulster, Munster, Leinster and Connacht, because people from all over the country came yesterday. Because we understand we've had enough, we've watched it all our lives. There was a lot of older men and women there, and a lot of them listened to what I had to say because they were following me, have been following me on TikTok and stuff before I got barred. But here my videos are still being shared, so that's amazing, awesome. Because I've done this for you, for my babies, for my 5 souls that I command, that I brought into this world. It's my duty to represent, or present, and represent, well I represent them, they present themselves. But anyway, we made an absolutely momentous decision and came together and brought all our communities together and talked to each other and listened to each other. I'd already done this for fucking the last, from when I went to prison in 2001. I taught everyone before that again, because I played with football with Andre Sugar and Bonzer Portland in the YMCA in Belfast when I was a bit younger than that. But didn't know who they were at that time and all that. But and then I get involved in a lot of stuff that I met a lot of different people over my lifespan. Also read a lot of books and all that there, and spent a lot of time in the health spas. I mean, over 10 years, like well over 10 years. But anyway, but I got to talk to a lot of people and see a lot of things and read a lot of books and do a lot of things. But we've been all lied to and deceived, and all these controlled opposition pushing the EU agenda. Whatever party you may be, or whatever independent you may be, you're controlled. Whether you know you're doing it wittingly or unwittingly, I don't give a fuck. We want there to do a Brexit. The EU has the reason, the Nazi German regime controlling the British government through the Rothschilds and the Rockefellers, through the Davos Group, through George Soros, through the World Economic Forum. I mean, but you all choose to argue me because, not just me, the men who made an amazing choice and decision to stand together yesterday. You know what I mean? And it was amazing right around the country, and I've had hundreds of personal messages to me and thanking me and everything else for what we've done. But you all want to support an English football team, but I can't stand beside the English flag. You all want to wear English clothing or pay English taxes to a paedophile regime who molests children, because that's what they do. You understand what the city of London is, run by the Jews and the Talmud Jews, and what they do to babies as young as 2 or less. It's absolutely horrifying. I mean, we've all been misled. I was talking to my Muslim friend Izzy this morning, and I know his family well. I've known him about 3 years or so. I mean, very good guys, and I work with them and stuff too. And I've contact with the sons for the last 3 years or so. And it's horrifying to see our country being destroyed again in a different manner, all because of Abrahamic religions. 23rd of September in 2022, the Vatican again, the devil's disciple, amalgamated the 3 Abrahamic religions to create one more religion. So once we all kill ourselves and beat each other to death and burn our country to the ground, this new religion and this new world order government and the Council of 300, the Spartans as they say, they call themselves, will run the world with their new world army, which is in the hotels and everything else. I've seen police officers for the 3rd time in the last few months, the tears trickling down his face, and I understand that hurt. See you free staters, and I call them the Irishmen who stand beside us and understand and listen to us and who say will follow us till death. That's what they've said. And I'll give my life and have given my life for my country and my babies and my God, and everything is good in this world. But these guys down there who, especially the Nationalist Party and all these clowns and fucking Iron First and all their other fucking mooncats who think they know what they're talking about and they call themselves Irishes. I'm Irish, man. I'm not a national, I'm off this land, I'm off God's land, I'm off God's creation. See in your DNA, fact, it says God is internal. But you all choose to read a book, or you all choose to do this. I don't choose to take my shoes off and walk on the grass. I choose to hug a tree. I choose to meditate. I choose to connect to myself, which is inside me. The pineal gland, my God, is inside me, not a book. I mean, but you all choose to drink alcohol and dumb ourselves down and still continue to drink fluoridated water and in the bottles and taps because they're all the same. Anyway, back to the point. All these boys trying to ridicule and we are talking to men and women around the country. So the handful of men and the controlled opposition and the media pushing this agenda to deceive us from the Republicans being exposed as paedophiles. Top Republicans again. I mean, the Diamond family the other day, which I've been told been exposed beforehand, but that was the first explosive interview the guy done. And then again, there was, I don't want to go off the video because I'll probably lost it again, but there was two, one in Belfast and one in Dublin. So now the media is distracting us with it done, and it was the government who created that protest by not listening to the people. We didn't want violence. We were pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed. No one wants to fight their fellow man. We were all happy doing our own thing, living our own lives. But unfortunately, unelected government officials through Westminster, through Stormont, from the Dáil, through the EU and everywhere else, made decisions why we were in lockdowns. And before lockdowns, Sinn Féin done it as far back as 72 under the Grey document. You know what I mean? So don't call us fucking traitors. We're not standing with them, we've been standing with you. Because we've stood there by ourselves, and see at the start when we stood in Belfast, when everyone was in lockdown, it was the Protestant people I stood with. It was a handful of Catholics, or people from the nationalist community. Because you all stood in the house and put your mask on, and everyone knows me because I went around Asda and Sainsbury's, and I was the only one who never wear a mask, because every single last one of us wear a mask. And then the two scumbags at Sainsbury's who refused and phoned the cops on me because I wouldn't put the mask on and argued and fought with them. Listen, may Holy Father have mercy on your souls, because when the time comes, we will not. The police know, because I've had over 100 incidents in the last 3 years, but a lot of incidents and arrests since Christmas, and they know what I've said under God's law, what I can do, and the power inside me, and what I'm commanding. So it's down to you to pick a side, especially Kulak Says No group, who's turning on Joe and all the rest. You understand what's coming, and what side you're on. You're on the side of the people, or you're on the side of a politically motivated government, evil, satanic government. And go bra. Love you all like a fat kid loves cake.
I like that one. Love you all like a fat kid loves cake. So that's it. People have the right, have the freedom to assemble when and where they wish. And who are you to tell them they can't or they mustn't? It was interesting to see the reaction by the system, the mainstream media, and some of the political players on the political landscape. Yeah, look at, as I said, if people want to assemble, they can. Who are you to tell them they can't? And we're going to need a people's movement. We surely are. But we've got to all realise. And I think some of the people who would be, let's say, born into the tradition of being under the monarch, the British Empire, some of them are also seeing the evils and the layers of the onion being peeled back. So yeah, people's movement is definitely not wanted by any of the mainstream parties or media. It's definitely not wanted, it seems, by some of the new political influencers, unless it's on their terms. Pick a side, you do be told. I've been told that a couple of times. Pick a side. So yeah, look at, we fight for, we stand up for freedom and individual freedom, and that's what is the Irish Republic is all about. The freedoms of the individual as well as the people. So yeah, interesting to observe. I didn't really put out any opinion. Sure, it's just an opinion. Trying to do now is just stay in the facts, play other people's videos, remind you that the government is corrupt to the core, and check out the People's Party Ireland letters if you want to. See it on the journey. And that's really it. But yeah, remember, you have no right to tell anybody what to do or say. Remember that. That's a good thing to remember. No comments, so we'll keep going.
Man charged with murder of Dana Walsh in County Cork. Adam Corcoran appeared at a special sitting of Mallow District Court. From 2019, father was foaming at mouth as he and his drugged-up wife took their baby for a walk. Walsh had 22 previous convictions. Last Tuesday, man charged in relation to alleged part in robbery of French student in Cork City appears in court. So it's alleged that Dana took a phone from some French students, and a teacher tried to stop her. It's then alleged that Mr. Corcoran intervened and approached the teacher and struck him up to 10 times in the back and upper body with a screwdriver. Now that sounds like a violent crime to me. Yesterday morning at 9:43 I sent this message. Why was a man who was in court during the week for striking a teacher up to 10 times in the back with a screwdriver a violent crime, with over 23 previous convictions not on remand? And why wasn't he? A woman mightn't be dead today if he was. We have huge problems with our justice system in this country. You can be sent to jail for not wearing a mask. If you're a paedophile, chances are in Ireland that you'll walk free from court. They're even higher you'll walk free if you get Judge Nolan. You can rot away in a jail cell for over a year if you're in civil contempt of court and stand up for what you believe in. But have tens of previous convictions and be charged with a violent crime, and you're free to do what you want, perhaps even kill somebody.
We're in Limerick people there tonight. Don't hate me now when I'm singing the Cork song. The night was dark and the fight was over. The moon shone down O'Connell Street. I stood alone where brave men perished. Their souls have gone now, they've gone to me. The first I met was a grey-haired father, searching for his only son. I said, oh man, well there's no use searching, for up to heaven your son has gone. My only son was shot in Dublin, fighting for his country old. He fought for Ireland and Ireland only. The harp and shamrock, green, white and gold. Now the old man cried, how broken-hearted, bending o'er, I heard him say, I knew my son was too kind-hearted. I knew my son would never leave. My only son was shot in Dublin, fighting for his country old. He fought for Ireland and Ireland only. The harp and shamrock, green, white and gold. The last I met was a dying rebel, bending low, I heard him
very good. I thought I'd give that a spin. I don't think that'll get done for copyright. So yeah, I'm spinning the email down there at the bottom of the screen. But it's actually wrong. I've just copied. Let me edit that. 1 second. That's no good. So that's the email. dhaoibh@gmail.com if you'd like to get involved with the People's Party Ireland. That's where I'm at for now. That's why I do these videos. There's obviously lots of people unhappy with the state, but it seems most people would like to argue about the differences we have. So what we're trying to do with the People's Party is get the Irish people to understand that on the 21st of January 1919, the first Dáil was created, Dáil Éireann courts were created, the proclamation was ratified as superior law. Everything from that point onwards is all crown games. And we're trying to get the Irish people to understand that in 2019, the Bar Council registered in London a private security force called Garda, and the Irish people are in serious trouble. As you can see from the goings on, if you pay attention to the mainstream media, lots of hurt, lots of sadness out there, and at a political level, lots of treaties and lots of agreements, it seems, without the voice of the people even being asked. And it's meant to be that the people have the power. So the People's Party Ireland is looking for people who want to get involved, who want to save the Irish Republic. She's already been signed off to a World Economic Forum corporation, company. We know this. We know the courts are unlawful. They have never been validated. Yeah, and we know the Bar Council of Ireland and the Crown is very much still ingrained in Irish politics, and we need to save the Irish Republic. Not many comments coming in tonight. I'll keep popping through the videos. It's as simple as that. The time, I think you know my opinion by now on things. The system must fall. So I'm involved with the People's Party Ireland. If you'd like to get involved, drop me an email on that. And that's really it. Other than that, I hope to see it in the real world. Look after yourself. Yeah, and know thy enemy. That keeps coming into me head tonight. Know thy enemy. It's quite biblical talk, isn't it? Also, thou shalt not judge. For all the Christians out there. Another couple of videos. As I said, no comments, so I'll just keep popping through them. We have a quiet audience this evening. That's okay though. It's just something for you to sit back and play some videos that I found interesting and they resonated, so I stick them out.
So, you know the way Nina Carberry got voted into the European Union there a couple of weeks ago? For what reason, I don't know. But from what I've heard, a lot of people voted her in based off the fact that she's an ex-jockey and comes from a good family and is a hard worker and knows how to get up early in the morning, which, like, what? Yeah, all of you that voted for her, I'm just reminding you now that Nina Carberry voted for Ursula von der Leyen, and Ursula von der Leyen is in... So, you know the way Nina Carberry got voted into the European Union there a couple of weeks ago? For what reason, I don't know. But from what I've heard, a lot of people voted her in based off the fact that she's an ex-jockey and comes from a good family and is a hard worker and knows how to get up early in the morning, which, like, what? Yeah, all of you that voted for her, I'm just reminding you now that Nina Carberry voted for Ursula von der Leyen, and Ursula von der Leyen is in full support of Israel's genocide against the people of Palestine. So you might think, oh, she's just harmless, she seems like a decent woman. You voted in Nina Carberry. Nina Carberry voted in Ursula von der Leyen. Ursula von der Leyen outspoken on her support for Israel. Not only that, she's pushing for militarisation across the European Union. Our Irish soldiers being sent to fight a war that we are not involved in, Nina Carberry will have involvement in that. Now, for the past 9-10 months, the Irish people, and even before October 7th, the Irish people have fully pledged their support to Palestine. And Nina Carberry has went against that by voting for Ursula von der Leyen. So next time you're voting, maybe do a bit of research and don't go off the fact that someone can get up early in the morning.
Very well said, young girl, young woman. So yeah, the idea of these streams, it's not always going to be me talking. It's letting other people talk. I don't want to talk for you. I'd encourage you to stand up in your locality and you speak up for you. And that's it. Because there seems to be many people speaking up, but we haven't formed the arrowhead as of yet. The infiltration is strong. The brainwashing is strong. But if we can get people to go back to day one of the forestall and understand what was done that day, and then look at what's around today, it needs to be dismantled, taken down. So yeah, that's my email down the bottom. As I said, if you want to get involved in the People's Party into the future, drop me an email on there, and I'll keep going, take a look at more videos.
Funny enough, the IRGC cannot operate in Saudi Arabia. Their supporters cannot have bank accounts in the UAE. The other extremist groups, like the Muslim Brotherhood, who are friends with the IRGC and Hezbollah people, they cannot operate in Bahrain, in Oman. These are Muslim countries. Where do they operate? In London, in France, in Washington, D.C., in Australia, in Canada, Toronto. They operate here. They have bank accounts. They register charity. Right. So Macron, the president of France, recently said the Islamic world is in a crisis. In my opinion, yeah, we do have problems. We do have Boko Haram, we have Al-Qaeda, we have Taliban. We have problems, but the broader picture, Islam is very successful, it's growing very fast. And we're doing really well. Dubai is not in a crisis. Abu Dhabi, the UAE, Bahrain, Oman, Kuwait, there's no crisis there. The Muslim countries are doing good there. Only some places there's a problem. I say, no, you are in a crisis. You went to the Muslim countries and you imported the garbage that the Muslim countries wanted to put in prison or isolate away from society. You went and you imported them. Why? For cheap labor. But these Islamist extremists, they don't want to work. They want free welfare. They want to marry French women, blonde hair, blue eyes. They don't have time to work. So look at Poland. They don't complain from Islamic extremism, not a single terrorist attack in Poland. The moment they sense there's a problem, they crack down on it. Polish policy, beautiful. The French, no, come. When they come, they use the resources. They go to Washington, D.C., and they sit in Congress. They support the Iranian regime. They go against the sanctions in Congress, right, with their hijab. Why? Because the ideology is filth to begin with. When you import that, or you allow it in, or you amplify it, or you glorify it in any way, you make your bed, sleep in it. So that is also a problem of the West. The question is, Tina, did the extremists become stronger or the West become weaker? I say it's both.
Give it up or give it to your deadliest enemy and pay for the rope that will choke you. This is very urgent business, ladies and gentlemen. I beseech you. Resist it while you still can, and before the right to complain is taken away from you, which will be the next thing. You will be told you can't complain because you're Islamophobic. The term is already being introduced into the culture as if it was an accusation of race hatred, for example, or bigotry, whereas it's only the objection to the preachings of a very extreme and absolutist religion. Watch out for these symptoms. They are not just symptoms of surrender, very often ecumenically offered to you by men of God in other robes, Christian and Jewish and smarmy ecumenical. These are the ones who will hold open the gates for the barbarians. The barbarians never take a city till someone holds the gates open for them. And it's your own preachers who will do it for you, and your own multicultural authorities who will do it for you. Resist it while you can. And if you wonder what will happen if you don't, look and see how a cricket team in Middlesex in England had to change its name by force last week because it was called, and had been for years, the Middlesex Crusaders. Look and see how stories about little pigs can't be taught to children in English schools anymore, lest offence be taken by the religion of peace. Resist it while you can.
One of the things that is coming up over and over again is Islamophobia. And, well, you can see the stats, you can see the numbers rising, particularly since October the 7th. Although we shouldn't fall into the trap of thinking that before October the 7th, this was all heading in the right direction. It's been far too high for far too long. Clearly, we need to just say over and over again, Islamophobia is intolerable. It can never, ever be justified. And we have to continue with a zero tolerance approach. And I think there's more we can do in government. There's certainly stuff online, which I think needs tackling much more robustly than it is at the moment.
What I'm hoping, Keir, is your experience as a prosecutor means you'll be thinking about the strategy we can use to make sure we take action against those who break the law.
All the one entity. British government, German government, Irish government, all the governments, not the peoples. Yeah, keep going. No comments, so we'll keep going. Meanwhile, in Ireland.
Very good. We shall not be moved. 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 We shall not be moved.
So I did a Freedom of Information request a couple of weeks ago, asking how much Ireland is paying Unidroit for the copyright usage of the UCC per year, and they gave me the year for 2022, how much they contributed, and you can see it just down here above where it says right of repeal. So Ireland made a contribution of €22,770 to Unidroit in 2022. So they're paying this every year. Ireland's been signed up to Unidroit since 1940. Now, the UCC is private international law, and it is written and owned by Unidroit, which is located within the Vatican, about 100 yards from the Holy See. But what this actually means is that Ireland, the government of Ireland, is paying Unidroit, the Vatican, almost 23 grand a year to try you under maritime admiralty law, which is banking contract law, under the guise of what they call statutory jurisdiction. So the J-word banking family, the Rothschilds, are the ones who are employing minions on behalf of the Vatican to dictate to the Irish government, which is a corporation, it's not a government, about what statutes and acts they can bring in order to collect more revenue off of the people. Pretty much, this is, in a nutshell, what it means. And the other interesting side now is that it's funny that this comes from the Department of Foreign Affairs, because it's the same department that deals with the Irish passports. Every other country, it's the Homeland Security Department that issues passports to their citizens. But it's the Department of Foreign Affairs in Ireland. So they're pretty much actually telling you that if you apply for a passport, you've become a foreigner on your own land. You've given up your standing as man, and you've joined a private foreign international corporation.
Minister, the whole controversy that started this debacle in the first place is that RTE wasted the public's money for years and showed zero accountability, and your government's response to that particular scandal is to hand them another several hundred million euros in taxpayer money as a reward for being wasteful and negligent effectively. How could you possibly look the people of Ireland in the eye and defend that situation?
The crisis that emerged last year, there were a number of reports and investigations done, and the two crucial ones that I always said were the ones on governance and on the culture in RTE, and there are over 100 recommendations there for RTE that RTE have agreed to, and I think that was an essential part of it. We are seeing reforms implemented already, so I think that there's a positive out of this. It's to see a stronger and better RTE that's more transparent, and that the trust to be regained now, because we see the implementation of those governance and culture, the fact that it will come under the CNAG, for example, as well, and that we're working on a general scheme of that and hope to have it in the autumn too. So I think we have to value public service media. Our RTE provide a vital service there. I think the implementation of the strategy, that strategy is a good roadmap for RTE, for the organisation, for the good staff who work there, and this has just given security and stability to that organisation to be able to deliver on that strategy.
What kind of moral hazard do you think is created by the fact that you can, as a state body, be incredibly reckless and irresponsible with the people's money, and then after that becomes a massive controversy and people are infuriated, you come out of that situation with more money than you went in? Do you not think that creates a kind of a bad lesson maybe to send to not only RTE but other semi-state bodies?
I think the lesson is you need to change, you need to reform. And what we've seen ever since Kevin Backhurst came into place is change and reform happening. And more will take place too, because as I said, they have absolutely committed to the recommendations and have given an implementation plan for the recommendations to change from a governance point of view and from a culture point of view. And government have also taken on the recommendations there, and we will implement it too. And I think a really good step on that will be the RTE coming under the remit of the CNAG.
Would you say that RTE has been...
Sorry, I think we're running out of time, so I'm just going to go up to Sean Defoe.
I think by now most of us understand that RTE needs to be disbanded, along with a whole host of state tentacles, agencies, call them what you will. There's 700 million getting pumped into that. So yeah, if you oppose that kind of stuff and all the other stuff, and you'd like to get involved with the People's Party of Ireland, send me an email. Put my email across there earlier. Check out the public letters on the peoplespartyofireland.com, and that's my seed to you, my message to you. I think of a couple more videos, so I'll keep going through them. As I said, it's not about my voice, it's about amplifying the voice of the people and forming that arrowhead.
So we're back here again with people still following and being directed in the direction that the media, the government, all the NGOs, all the newspapers, all that stuff, in the direction that they want to put you in. So COVID wasn't enough for people. Learned nothing from it. The Ukraine nonsense, people learned nothing from it. All the rest of the stuff, people have learned absolutely nothing from it. As soon as the conversation comes up that maybe English people and Irish people, whatever label you want to put on them, so maybe human beings who had a difficult history together and still currently probably have a difficult history together or a difficult relationship with each other, they might actually have something to fight towards and against together. So as soon as that conversation comes up, people get whipped straight into the direction that the media wants to put them in again. Who's that serving? If you want to retain an animosity or some sort of ill will towards a group of other human beings at the cost of the future of Irish people, then you are a stupid person. That's all I can say to you. You are absolutely not thinking clearly. You haven't overcome whatever it is that you need to overcome, and you are going to plunge Irish people into another civil war, the same way it was concocted over 100 years ago by the English, by the Vatican, and by another Eamon de Valera. We are on the verge of being plunged right back into where we were over 100 years ago, and look what came from that. A century of absolute banality, of soullessness, and of children being raped en masse. That's what we had, where we forsake our daughters and we threw them into these rotten places because other people might say something about them. That's where we're heading again, because morons, and I will say morons because it's the thinking of morons, if you're willing to forsake your children's future for the sake of just wagging a finger at other human beings that live on this island as well. Lads, put it aside. Priorities. And look who's channeling this stuff. The very same people who you were talking about being corrupt, being traitors, being evil last week. And now they're telling you, look, get up and get rowdy with the English and all that. And you're buying it. You're buying it again. I'm sick of living on this island with people who don't think. They don't think. They react emotionally. They are absolutely led by the nose, and they don't reflect on a goddamn thing. And they pull everyone else down with it. This is the problem with Irish people. We used to be a little bit humble. You know, we used to say, look, I wouldn't know much about that, so I'll keep my opinion to myself. No longer do we do that. So we are destined to repeat the 1920s all over again. Because people can't put their emotions aside, however legitimate they are. I'm not denying that. They can't put it aside for the sake of a greater good, which is the preservation of Irish people. It's as simple as that. So we're probably going to start butchering each other again, because the media told us that. Well fucking done. Not a thing learned from the last few years. And you know what we're doing? We're absolutely fulfilling the pure, thick, stupid, paddy Irishman trope and stereotype. That's what we're doing. Can't pull our claws in off of each other for more than 2 seconds to look at something greater, a greater point. So if you want to be buried with written on your headstone, he still hated the English, he held on to it, and the Irish race is no more. If that's what you want as your epitaph, then off you go. But you are a danger to everyone else that wants to aim at something better, greater, and lighter. You're a danger. You need to rein in your own thinking and keep stum, because you're not seeing the bigger picture, and you're being led by the nose by people that you said you recognised what they were last week. If you can't rein that in for a superior goal, then you've no business talking.
Damn straight. Preach, brother. Preach. I was putting my email across the bottom there if you want to get involved in the People's Party. If all these videos make you feel like you want to get involved, there's the email. Send me an email. Check out the peoplespartyireland.com, and I send you my love, and I wish you well. I had a good conversation today with Morlock from the deregistering crew, or campaign, or call it what you will. Yeah, an interesting chat. He was informing me there was a post or something going around with people giving me a bit of jip, but that's okay. If that makes them feel good, I'm okay with that. But your country is born. Put your attention elsewhere. Get your finger out of your arse and listen to that man. Play another video for you, my Sparky. My Sparky, I don't know. Just keep trying. Just keep trying, Dennis.
I'll let you take it away.
I've never really spoken in front of people before, but we are in such a bad situation in our country that I thought that I had to get up here and speak. Right? This is historically one of the most fiercest places in Ireland. It's the bandit country where we all stuck together. I'm a South Down man. I know there's men here from South Armagh and there's boys here from North Louth. We have fought this shit before. Right? They're bringing in these people from across the world. We don't know who they are, and if you say anything bad, you're a racist, you're a fascist, and every other fucking ism that they want to give to you. So now we all know what's going on. We all know that it's fucking wrong. Right? And it's great coming down here once a week, but there's other things you can be doing. And you see this here motherfucking thing? This is the modern day weapon. It's used to brainwash them cunts to come out against us. Right? But we're all too smart for the brainwashing. And in our hand, You go and you get a Twitter account, or X as it's called, and you post and you say, and you get everybody on our fucking side. I've been doing this for 2 years. I stood in Cork, I stood in Galway, and I stood in East Wall. And now today, I stand in Dundalk with many people. We're not backing down. I went to Sinn Féin and they called me a racist. And then they started saying I was a loyalist. And then I went back to them. And you know what the sneaky bastard did? He punched me in the chest. And I said, right then, this how it fucking is. I came here 2 weeks ago and I was threatened by dissident Republicans. Shouting my address, or what they thought was my address at me, thinking that it would shut me the fuck up. What did I do? I shouted fucking louder! Now they're standing over there unfurling fucking banners, standing with foreigners, flying Palestinian flags. We know what they're like there, and they'll say Palestinian for the Palestinians. But if we say Ireland for the Irish, which them cunts have been saying for years, we're the bad guys. Well, no fucking more. 2024 is the year of courage. Everybody find your balls. Go to your mates and tell them to find their balls. The fight is on! Fuck every one of them!
Good advice for the men out there. Find your balls. Sinn Féin. You mentioned Sinn Féin, and something came into my mind. We were at a remembrance, a commemoration service in Kildare town maybe a year and a half ago, commemorating some of the boys that were killed in 1921 by the Free State. And Sinn Féin actually came over to us and told us we weren't welcome. Our type wasn't welcome. And that was interesting to experience. A so-called Republican nationalist party, an Irish party, telling Irish men they weren't wanted there. That was the line in the sand for me that day. What else? Yeah, that chap there was saying about people shouting out his address. I've had a weasel or two on my journey as well who have done things like that to try and quieten me down. That won't be happening. And people can do what they so wish. Self-defense is a different thing though. Game on. So don't be worrying about words and tales and opinions. Protect yourself. Stand up for yourself and your loved ones and your people and your nation. I beg you. It's quite serious. This is not a game.
What about Ireland? They never took over anyone's country, yet Ireland is being used as a dumping ground. Well, I'm glad you mentioned this, because the snowflakes and mutants on this app don't know how to respond to this, because it basically debunks their whole useless narrative. And it proves my point even more. So, let's talk in detail about what's going on in Ireland, because Ireland has been betrayed. So let's talk about it, shall we? First of all, big shout out to everybody in the Republic of Ireland. Great country, great people. I was there last year, as you can see here, having a ball at Croke Park, as you can see, holding the cup. Here I am again, down by the River Liffey. Yeah, I paid €8 for a pint that night. Almost had a heart attack, but nevertheless, I love Ireland. Great people, great sense of humour. Now let's get into it. Irish people, by the way, if there's anything that I've got wrong or anything that I've missed out, please put it in the comments below, because obviously I'm not in Ireland. You guys are on the front line, so write it in the comments below. But let's get into it. For those of you who don't know, Ireland has been hit with not a wave, but a tsunami of illegal immigration into their small country, right? Over the last couple of years, to be honest, Ireland has had an increase in young fighting age males coming into the country via a variety of methods. What's interesting is this, is that some of them come via the border from Northern Ireland, but what's even more interesting is that many of these asylum seekers, as they call themselves, land at Dublin Airport, and they rip up their passports and documents when they arrive, and then say to the Irish authorities, I'm here to claim asylum. So my question is that if you were a genuine asylum seeker, why would you rip up your passports and documentation on arrival? If I was an asylum seeker or a refugee, I would want the country that I'm going to know all my information. But yet these people throw away their passports at the first opportunity. Now, let's talk about this man behind me, shall we? The former Irish, please forgive me, Irish people, I may say this wrong, please forgive me. The former Irish Taoiseach, Leo Varadkar. This man behind me is a traitor to the Republic. He is a traitor to the Irish Republic, and he's an embarrassment to the great people of Ireland. An absolute embarrassment. Now, Leo took the kindness of the Irish people, and shoved it back in their face. Because he lied. So Leo told the people of Ireland that they were only going to get Ukrainian women and children. Because he knows that the Irish people have great hearts. They're great people. But what they got instead was the complete opposite. Young, fighting age males pouring into the country at an alarming rate. And just like the UK, they're getting put in hotels and they're getting 5-star treatment at the expense of the Irish taxpayers. Now, for those of you that don't know, Ireland has a huge shortage of resources for its own people, especially housing. I saw a video a couple of years ago in Dublin where one flat had people queuing up down the whole street just to view it. I'm not even joking. It was a whole huge amount of people queuing up for one flat. So the people of Ireland said, hold on a second, Leo. We can't take the influx of people. It needs to stop. We need to look after our own people. These great Irish patriots all said the same thing. And guess what Leo and the lying mainstream media outlets in Ireland called these people? Oh, you guessed it. You can guess what they were labelled as. Leo called them far right. He said, and I quote, he said far right myths are gaining traction in Ireland. You couldn't make this up. You could not make this up. That is the biggest lie I've ever heard, by the way, because in Ireland, many foreign nationals live in the country, and the Irish have welcomed them with open arms. They really have. They really have. In 2011, the late Queen made the short trip across the Irish Sea, and she landed in Dublin. It was the first time that a sitting monarch had landed in the Republic of Ireland since they became an independent country. The Irish people, credit to them, were very, very respectful towards her and very, very courteous. So for Leo to call Irish people far right and insinuate that they don't like foreigners is an absolute lie. Now, I've seen videos online of these asylum seekers being very hostile towards the Irish people. Very, very hostile. Now, if you were claiming asylum or you were in danger, surely you'd be very grateful towards the host country which allows you to stay in it. Surely. But no. They're being very, very hostile towards the Irish people. And the Irish people have a right to be upset. They really do. There are sleepy villages in Ireland that have had generations of the same families living there, suddenly having busloads of young, fighting age men just dropped off. And residents are obviously very terrified because they don't have a clue who they are. They're unvetted. So I totally understand where they're coming from. And look, Irish people, if I'm wrong, let me know. Put in the comments, And to prove I'm not waffling, this is a message that I got from a girl in Ireland, She's a Dublin local, born and raised. And as you can see, women in Ireland no longer feel safe, She was robbed of her phone. And these asylum seekers, a lot of them are committing horrific crimes, Committing horrific crimes. So as you can see, the women in Ireland don't feel safe. So Leo has since resigned. He's quit his post and he's run away like a coward. But before he ran away, he had the opportunity to say one last thing to the Irish people. He had the chance to apologise and at least redeem himself a tiny, tiny bit. What did Leo say? Leo said, and I quote, he has quote unquote no regrets about allowing so many asylum seekers into Ireland. Leo got his big fat paycheck from Klaus Schwab in the WEF and he's run off. Now, I wish the people of Ireland nothing but the best in their fight against their treacherous government. I'm hearing all the young people are leaving Ireland. They're going to Australia and elsewhere because they can't find jobs and housing. And look, James Connolly and these guys behind me did not die for these treacherous people to sell out Ireland a century later. So I wish the Irish nothing but the best. Great country, great people. And yeah, I shall be watching. And if I got anything wrong, Irish people, write it down below. Let me know. Now, you have the usual snowflakes and mutants on this app saying things like, oh, well, Irish people were refugees in the past. Wah, 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 wah. Yes, they were. They were running from a famine. But the main difference between the Irish refugees who went to America, London, or wherever, is that the Irish refugees went to work and they went to contribute positively to wherever they went to. These people in Ireland now don't give a shit about Irish society or contributing. These illegals are there for the benefits. That's the difference. And it is an insult to compare the Irish refugees from the famine to what's going on now. Absolute insult.
I was just going through my videos there to see how many I have left. So yeah, what more do I need to say? This is my seed. This is my therapy. Long live the Irish Republic, people. She is crying out for her people. But our people are still putting themselves in boxes instead of realising they are the people of Ireland. Warts and all, differences and all. But yeah, as I said earlier, it's interesting. The reaction to the assembly in Belfast, that'll tell you a lot. So anybody who's shouting down people's freedoms to assemble and talk and build bridges and build a movement away from infiltration and being led down the garden path by the usual suspects. I believe we need an arrowhead, a political movement that wants to take the head of the snake and lock the likes of Leo Varadkar up. Otherwise, we're just extending the misery for years and years and years. So we either want it to stop and we build a movement that is built upon that one thing that we wanted to stop. We want this system to fall. It's a generation defining message. And it's going to take a lot of hard work, but it's a simple message. But my phone doesn't be ringing too often. So yeah, it's very interesting. You would think by now there would be some conversations, but no. So anyway, I think I've one more video. You keep your head about you. Spread the light, spread the love. Don't forget to do a bit of weeding every now and then. Take the weeds out. And beware energy vampires. That's really all I can do for now, folks, is send out the information and hope it attracts and something becomes of it. Because all these people feel the same way, just don't have an arrowhead. I'll play one more. This one's interesting because Alan sent me this one the other day, and I watched the video, and the chap recommended a video to watch, and I went and typed it into Google, and it was actually a conversation that myself and Morlock and Paul had maybe a year and a half ago, that the chap was referring to in this video. So yeah, little seeds. That's all you can do, is plant them and hope they ripple. We're not always right, but if we come from a place of goodness, that's all we can really ask for.
And what happens when a nation is at war is a state steps in. State is federal. Federal is America.
bankers. State steps in and imposes a provisional government, which is a temporary government, until the people can come together again to form their own government. So the provisional government, which consisted of Michael Collins and Eamon de Valera, rounded up the leaders of 1919, locked them up, re-registered the state as Ireland, bringing it back under the Crown, converted the courts back to Crown courts, took the 1919 leaders, unalived them, because then what they were doing was legal, not lawful, and that's when they added the 13th string to the harp, created the Dáil, operating out of Leinster House, all for trickery and deception on the people. The Irish that has been taught since then is Crown Irish, which is contracting language under De Valera's curriculum. They teach you that Éire is Irish for Ireland, when it is not. Ireland and Éire are two separate registered titles. Ireland means angry land and Éire means land of the Fá. They have to trick you into believing that they are Éire, because the last time the country was a 32 county lawful system with a de jure government was under that registered title name. Since 1922, all of the votes have been 26 counties, not 32, so it was never the full people of the island. The original Éire had an embossed seal, which was the same as the logo, a 12-string harp, with Éire worded correctly underneath. That is supposed to be on all paperwork that raised the embossed seal, but the government of Ireland can't use that seal because it is treason, and that's why it's not on any of their paperwork. They use ink stamps, harps consisting of more than 12 strings, and Éire spelled incorrectly. It's all trickery. Now, I would highly recommend you go listen to a debate on a channel on YouTube called Plants Extracts. The video is called Deregistering Pros and Cons. That's where I learned a lot of this stuff, and it's a very, very good debate, well worth the watch. So go on over there and give that a look.
Yeah, so I was sent that, and I went and googled the debate, and it was actually myself and Morlock and Paul and another chap. Check it out if you want it on a channel called Plant Extracts. And there's lots of information for people to digest. At that stage, I was on the 37 Bunnock, but I'm not on that anymore, as far as I'm aware. Yeah, 1919 was stolen. Dáil Éireann, the Dáil courts. The Constitution didn't go through a Dáil Éireann court; it went through a bar court, and the bar courts are still doing what they're doing today, and it seems the Irish people are all over the shop. So we need to try and find an arrowhead. I believe it could be the proclamation of the Irish Republic. It's that simple. If you believe so, get involved. Other than that, that's me, folks. Trying to compartmentalise me stuff and not spend all my time online. Do this once a week now, and that's really it. But I'm sending seeds out to hopefully see more faces, face to face, and a real conversation with a real purpose and a real message. Long live the Irish Republic. It's that simple, folks.
There is no, it is, the government has an OPW portfolio, for example. I am not familiar with every property in the OPW portfolio, so how am I supposed to assess which one is the most appropriate one to go for? We are giving our vision for what is a humane and dignified system and political leadership which acknowledges that inward migration into this country is good, whether it's through economic migration or whether it's through...
Shut the fuck up.
Exactly. On stage once with Jason Bourne many moons ago in his backup choir for a Christmas show in Vicar Street, and it was a good experience. He was nice and polite. Yeah, turn off the TV, folks. At times you can tune in here on a Wednesday if you want to. It's for those people who want to. And again, I'll play this once, I'll spin this once more. A few messages for you. Don't fall for the divide and conquer tools. Sending love out. And else. War. We're trying to create a race war now. Problem. Reaction. Solution. Digital ID. More surveillance. All this kind of stuff. People will walk into it. The state needs to fall. want to get involved, send me an email on that. In terms of activism and political activism and energy of opposing the state, I'll be doing it through that vehicle, the People's Party Ireland. If you would like to get involved, drop me a line, and that's me, folks. I will see you next Wednesday at 11. Long live the Irish Republic. Time is of the essence. Wakey, wakey.